What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Missed Putt. My name is Harrison. If you're new around here, you don't really know what's going on, what I do is I go around playing 9 holes of golf with whoever wants to play, talk about life, what's going on, anything like that, with the hopes that anything that we talk about, someone listening out there will kind of resonate with, and hopefully we can help out. Today's special guest, someone I've been following on social media for a while now, one of the more positive people that I know. He's always doing something, brings the vibes, especially when he goes to Vegas to watch a Conor McGregor fight for 30 seconds, but that's irrelevant. So without further ado, everyone welcome my man Luke Natale here.
Oh, my man.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, dude?
Thanks for hopping in the card. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited for today, dude. I think we're gonna be awesome. I think you and I have some good things to talk about. I think with everything you have to bring and everything I have to bring, I think today's gonna be a good fucking episode.
100%. I'm hoping we go a little longer than Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
that was rough.
I know.
It went from the highest high to the lowest low in that arena. Because Patty, the baddie,
yep,
that was awesome. His walkout, everyone in the world should experience it at some time. It's so much fun.
I was living vicariously through you when your Instagram story. I'm very jealous. All right, let's fucking get it.
Let's go. We're gonna go.
Nah, dude, that was a good shot. I got that on my camera too.
Oh, fire.
Yeah, clearly, as you can see in my first 2 shots, I'm not that good.
No, but it's fun.
But who cares? Yeah. There are days where I play lights out, and then there are days where I play like shit. Like today, for example. But I don't give a fuck.
Well, I feel like golf is definitely one of those things too, where it's just like sometimes you just have a day.
Exactly, I know. Now you're about to chip this up, I know that.
Dude, right now I think relatability is like the biggest thing where people, even like we were saying it yesterday, there's like so many chicks out at like Jenks and stuff like that, like they're all doing the like get ready with me videos and things like that, but like honestly marketing companies and like big brands, the UGC, user generated content, is bigger than having, Logan Paul, like not necessarily Logan Paul, but like people like that.
I mean, Logan Paul would be fucking cool.
Logan Paul is probably the best marketer ever.
I know.
Like even you see the stuff with Tom Brady. Like it wasn't a great slap, but like still, I mean, who's not going to talk about it? Tom Brady just slapped Logan Paul in the face.
Are they actually beefing, or is that for like UFC or something like that?
Yeah, so like I kind of take all of that. Like you're in that Michael Rubin friend group, white party.
Okay.
And I think it's just they're probably hyping up Tom Brady's gonna eventually be part of Rip It, which is like Logan Paul's like cards.
Oh, no way.
He rips packs on, and they do that on like live. So like streaming, he'll rip a Pokemon pack hoping to get, some crazy hologram or whatever.
Shit.
And like people love that shit. It's like the gambling stuff that you see on, So like he'll buy a $25,000 box and just rip it all open, but then it'll have $250,000 worth of cards in it.
God damn. That's fucking badass.
So I think that's what's gonna happen. I think Tom Brady's gonna be a part of that.
That'd be sick, I'll tell you that.
It would make sense, right? He's the GOAT.
I know.
His card's probably worth crazy money.
I mean, well, I'm a biased Broncos fan, so I think Peyton Manning is.
Oh, for sure. That's
whatever.
Fair. But I don't even know enough about that whole scene, like card collecting and stuff. But dude, you see the money in it. I
know. See, and that's a couple years ago. I kind of got into like buying Pokemon cards and like reselling them. I made a decent amount of money, but they're like now, dude, it's crazy. You can do whatever. Baseball cards, football, Pokemon, and literally anything. Millions of dollars. I know, and it's a very lucrative business. I'll tell you that. Definitely. We're waiting up for these guys on hole number 2. So Luke, tell us like about yourself. Like, what do you do? What's up, man? What's going on? Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Luke. Grew up in Howell with Harrison here in Jersey. We actually went to high school together, so it's a cool blast from the past to get back here with him. I love everything that he's doing with the Missed Putt podcast here. And a little bit about myself. So right now I'm in a stage of my life where I'm going all in on my dream. I've written a book, and the book is called The Happiness Review. It's a 66-day guide to living a happier, more intentional life. And right now, that's my meaningful mission. Meaningful mission is to help people build a playbook for living their best life. Happier, more intentional life. That's gonna be awesome, man. I can't wait for that book. While we're on the subject of the Happiness Review, I was doing a little research on you. So I saw you created this, a couple years back. What was the thought process of creating it? Why would you do it? And what made you decide to make that your goal? Yeah, so it's actually an interesting story, and it kind of goes along with like a lot of the theme and the process of the book, right? But I started the Happiness Review about 4 or 5 years ago now, and it was originally just kind of a place to get my thoughts down, right? So I was trying to get into in-person therapy. This was during COVID,
And at the time, they put me on a 6-month waiting list.
Jesus Christ.
So I was like, damn, dude, like if I was, you know, luckily I wasn't in such a bad place that I like needed immediate attention, but I was like, what if I was? And like maybe wasn't comfortable saying that or whatever. And it just started taking me down this rabbit hole of like, what is out there for people to play prevent defense for their mental health, right? Like we brush our teeth preventatively. If you don't brush your teeth tonight, not the best thing, but they're not gonna fall out of your head, right? So the same way we go to the gym, the same way we brush our teeth and we do these things to keep ourselves healthy, why don't we have like a free method for people to focus on their mental health? And that's where the happiness review really started to sprout in my mind, where I was like, okay, on a daily basis, if I tracked my happiness, what would that look like? And would it create accountability? Which it did over time, right? I never wanted to have a bad score. Obviously, you got to be honest with yourself, and lying or saying a score that's not correct, it's only hurting yourself in the long run. But I found that over time, it builds this playbook that you can go back and look in and say, wow, on a day that I was a 3.2, you know, I didn't set my alarms, I woke up late, you know, I didn't really get my day going, I didn't go to the gym, whatever it is, right? And then on a day that was like a 9.2, it's like I had a full schedule, I knew exactly where I was going, I saw my friends, I called my mom, whatever things that make you happy, right? And I really started to see, like, you know, I was saying to you earlier, I have ADHD, so sometimes it's hard to focus. And one of the biggest things that this whole thing has taught me is that people with ADHD, they need systems, right? A playbook that you can follow. And that's really where it's at now.
That's awesome. I'll tell you what, as a huge men's mental health advocate and an even bigger football fan, I love the analogy you use that for a prevent defense, and then you're using the playbook analogy. I love that. I think what you have been doing and what you're going to continue doing moving forward, I think it's going to be great. I cannot wait to follow you along your journey. I'm looking forward to it. I want you to keep talking about it and keep posting about it, because what you're doing is fantastic. I love it. I love the idea. Especially now in 2026, it's hard for men to kind of go out there and talk about themselves, do a pulse check, as they say, you know? So I think now with the internet and podcasts and your book, I think people now will kind of take a step back and realize, okay, like I need help. You know what I mean? And you're not a bitch to talk about it. You're not less manly to ask for help. So I think what you're doing, what I'm doing, and with all the outlets on the internet, I think it's going to be great.
100%, man. I think it's one of the most important things. Like, at the end of the day, when you get that moment to talk, or you get that moment to maybe write your thoughts down, you get it off your chest and you feel that weight lifted, right? But if you don't, I always say it's kind of like a backpack, right? It's another book in your backpack. And the heavier your backpack is, the more it hurts, the more everything is harder to do, right? So giving people a space for that, making it feel comfortable, right? That was one thing that stood out to me right away, was like, people who look like me, I've got tattoos, you know, all stuff like that, they don't typically seem like the person who's going to talk about mental health, right? It's not a guru, or it's not a monk in a monastery, right? But it's just a normal dude. And at the end of the day, that's what I want this to be, so that the average person can just pick it up and start recording their score, right? You don't even need to write it down. You could do it mentally.
Yes, sir. And that's the point of this as well. Like I said, tattoos, beards, as you and I both have, we give off that kind of hard-ass persona, but at the end of the day, there's still a human being behind us, you know? I'm battling something, you are, we all are, and something like your book and like this is for that average person, is for that person who works at 9 to 5, who struggles with things but doesn't want to talk about it. So I think what you're doing, what I'm doing, I think people need to kind of pay more attention to it, and don't be afraid.
So I'm gonna let you in on a little secret sauce here. So the book is called The Happiness Review, but I see it as a series, right? So this book right now is called The Happiness Review, It's Not What You Think.
Okay.
So the next one could be like The Happiness Review, The Future is Bright, whatever, right? But It's Not What You Think goes right back into what we're saying, where it's like, don't judge a book by its cover, right? You read The Happiness Review, and then you're like, it's not what you think. Like, what actually is this? And that's the whole point, right? It's not your typical self-help book. It's more of a guide, and it's a thing that you're creating yourself. It's user-generated data.
Which is what we want for normal, everyday people.
I think that's like what we're missing, right? It's always 10 steps to this, 10 steps to, you know, success. And it's like, but what says that that's definitely going to work for each individual person?
I feel you.
You know, those books are great, but I wouldn't say that they're necessarily like something that you take part in and you build yourself.
Yeah, everyone has a different playbook. It's up to you to study it.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, while there's some MJ going on, we're about to crush this ball. So, cruise past hole number 2. Luke's getting better. We'll give him that. You know, I think he got a par on that one.
Let's go.
Sick putt. Really good shit, but we're doing pretty good.
Road to scratch, baby. Road to scratch.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Again, as we're waiting for the guys in front of us. Have you ever started to chase something, whether it was a girl or a project you're doing, or something for your own personal gain, that you kind of stopped chasing because you realized it wouldn't have made you happy?
Yeah, definitely. I think I would say like the corporate structure really for me. You know, I think it was like society kind of tells us that that's the right thing, right? You go to college, you get the degree, you get the job, and you're happy. You live your life, right? But eventually I just realized that just really wasn't doing it for me, right? And this most recent time that I stepped out of the corporate world to get into the book and like really take it serious was like the second time that I've had that feeling of just like, you know, the corporate life just isn't for me. And I heard this quote one time and it really stands out to me in the sense of just like, I feel that, right? But it's like, chase your dream or you'll spend your entire life chasing someone else's, right? Shit. So like, you know, I worked for a big beverage company and that's their dream, right? They created that product and that's cool. And it's good to be on a team and it's good. I learned a lot, right? I would never change it, but I would definitely say that I am the type of person to like, itch my creative and make myself fulfilled. I have to pursue something. So that's definitely what I would say, the corporate ladder, and just being like, I thought this would be it and it wasn't.
Yeah, I feel that. Trust me, I want to do my own thing. I want to be my own boss. I want to set my own hours. But eventually, that's my goal. That's what I want to do with this. If this takes off, so make sure you like, follow, and subscribe.
Let's go.
If this takes off, that's my plan. I envy people like you who got out of the corporate world, who decided to do their own thing. People like you are what make people like me inspired.
Yeah,
so
I appreciate that, and you know, respect to you for pursuing this while you're still in your job, right? Yep. Whether it's the rest of your life you want to be in that or not, you're still working on your mission on the side, right? And I definitely have to say this because I'd be lying if I didn't, but also taking the leap out of that world, out of the safe job, it's scary, right? It's definitely not easy. I'm not trying to come on here and be like, yeah, quit your job, do this, do that, right? Like, no. Have a meaningful mission that you're passionate about and take care of yourself along the way, right? If you can go all in and you have, you know, the ability to step back for a little bit, out of work, whatever, do it. If you don't, dedicate some time to it, right? Maybe it's at night after work, maybe it's on the weekends. As you start to build that, it grows. So
and that's what I'm doing with this. So my free time, Jen and we're sitting around editing videos, thinking of clips to make, thinking of guests to bring on, thinking of interview questions, and that's what we do in our spare time, because I want to pursue this. I want to continue doing this until it reaches at least one person positively. And I think having you on here, and especially with people listening to what you have to say, I think someone is going to get some sort of information, and someone's going to resonate with this episode really, really well.
I think so too, but I also think, you know, you can't decide who that's going to be, right? So you just got to keep chipping away, literally chipping away, because it's going to land for people that you would never even realize, right? So one thing that's kind of cool, and I'm going to give you a little secret in the book, but I don't mention you by name, but you're in there a little bit.
Hell yeah. All right.
Because there's this whole concept of like, it's cringe until it's not, right? So people will think it's cringe while you're on your grind and you're learning and you're growing and stuff. But then when you make it, they're like, oh, I saw the vision the whole time, right? And, you know, I had a guy reach out to me on Instagram. Only really like negative feedback I've gotten since I've really started like posting positivity for like 4 or 5 years now, right? And he was just like, yo, from the outside looking in, this is super cringe. And then that same day, later that day, you reached out to me, and it was during when I was doing the 66 days like morning stuff, and I was just like, dude, like, you know, we went to high school together, but I never would have necessarily thought that it would have resonated to you or hit for you. And then I got that message in a time where I was like, damn, like somebody just tried to cut me down and shoot me down for sending a positive message, and then somebody that, you know, no offense, but I wasn't thinking of you, right?
I know.
And then you popped in, and I was like, damn, I never even realized that someone like Harrison could benefit from this.
I feel that. Well, yeah, dude. So when I hit you up on that one day, I was going through some shit at work, and I was on my lunch break, and I was scrolling through Instagram, and one of your videos, your happiness trip video, came across my Instagram. So I was like, you know what? I don't think I've ever said a word to you in high school, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking message him anyway.
Hell yeah, dude.
And you know, I hit you up, and that was a really good decision because you know you and I have been having pretty good conversations over the past couple of months or so. And again, like I said before, using you as an inspiration to kind of start this, to me, it's huge. And I'm forever grateful for that because without me reaching out to you, without me talking to you, I don't think this would be happening right now.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't be here right now because we wouldn't have like really connected like that, right?
Yeah, and I don't think this is something that I would necessarily be doing as far as a podcast. I'd probably be sitting at home right now or golfing by myself, but what I wanted to do was help people and talk to people. And with talking to you over the past couple months, some of your words really resonated and stuck with me, so I want to keep that going moving forward.
Definitely,
I
bro.
really appreciate it.
And I mean, thinking about it too, it's like you didn't know that I needed it that day too, right? I had somebody that was trying to shoot me down and then got your message within like the same hour, and it completely negated the whole feeling because I was like, oh, that's the whole point anyway. Like somebody is gonna hate it, but somebody's gonna love it, and it's gonna change their day on a day that they need it. Yeah. And that's more important to me than anything else, right?
And at first, I don't. At first, I cared about what people thought. And like, people are gonna think this is stupid. People are gonna hate on it. People are gonna think it's cringy. And that's what I even thought at first when I first started doing this. But I'm like, you know what? Why the fuck would I care what people think? At the end of the day, and what you told me also, at the end of the day, if I like doing it, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. I'm doing it for myself. Yes, I want people to kind of take some sort of benefit from this. Yes, absolutely. But I'm doing this because I want to.
That's the best part. And I'm sure you're finding things that you're like, this is, like you said, you and Jen are editing in your free time. That means you like it. That's when you know to do it, right? Yeah. It's not this task, it's not homework, it's not a chore. It's like Saturday night, me and Jen are gonna edit some videos and hang out.
Literally last night, that's what we were doing, yeah.
So like, that's awesome, bro. That's when you know that you're doing something that at least is filling your cup. Yeah,
a beautiful Saturday night last night.
And then think about
80s or high 70s, sitting at home where we could be out drinking, having a good time. Nope, we're at home editing these videos, putting these clips together because this is something that not only that I want, but she wants for me. We both want it.
And think about it, dude. Like, what you're trying to do is spread positivity, right? Give people a place to, you know, maybe think about a perspective they haven't thought about before, or get comfortable for maybe a man who doesn't feel like he can talk about his mental health, stuff like that. So if somebody wants to hate on you for that, dude, fucking let them.
Yeah, fuck you if you hate on me.
Straight up.
We're about to crush this ball. So if you had to give any advice to 20-year-old, 2 years out of high school, what would that advice be?
So I would honestly tell 20-year-old Luke to just go through the experience of it all, right? Feel everything, you know, the highs, the lows, the ups and the downs. They built me to where I'm at today, and you know, today I really do feel like my base level happiness review score would be like an 8.2. Like, I wake up daily, I feel good. Some days go a little higher, some days skew a little lower, but like, I haven't had low scores in a while now since I've really started tracking and doing these things. So like, for the 20-year-old version of myself, like, I really wouldn't change anything. I would just say, trust the lows, that it means that there's going to be a high on the other side of it, right? And you have to feel that to understand it, right? It's like the 50 Cent, you know, sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain.
Yeah, and you know, there's peaks and valleys in everyone's life. And, you know, even for 20-year-old Harrison, I would probably say the same. Keep doing what you're doing. You're never going to have, you know, a perfect day. You're going to have days that are very, very close to it. You're going to have days that are very shitty. My wedding day, for example, the best day of my life. Was it perfect? No. Why? Because someone who did an RSVP showed up and pissed me off, but that was irrelevant. But otherwise, I married my best friend. Jen is my woman, my partner, the person I'm meant to be with. So my answer to my own question to you is, I wouldn't change a thing for 20-year-old Harrison.
I love that, man.
My advice would be just continue doing what you're doing. You know, there's going to be, again, highs and lows, peaks and valleys in everyone's life. Just got to power through it.
Exactly, man. And everything becomes a story, right? Like, even the guy does an RSVP, comes to the wedding, but like, that's a story now. It's something that you talk about, whether it was inconvenient or annoying or whatever. It's a moment from the wedding that still gets talked about, right?
Yeah. Worst part, the best part about this was we finished the ceremony, didn't even see the person, and then we get to the cocktail hour, and then I see them in like the corner of the cocktail hour. So I'm like, Jen, come here. So I tell her, I'm like, oh, so and so's here. So we run to the maitre d', whatever it is. We need another chair and plate at this table because this person did an RSVP, and here they fucking are, crashing the wedding. But I mean, if that was the worst part of my wedding day, then I will do that every single day for the rest of my life.
100%, right?
You know, when the time comes for you, that's going to be one of, if not the best day of your life as well.
I think so too.
I know I went off a little bit there, but I wouldn't change anything with 20-year-old Harrison. Luke wouldn't either. Just continue living. There's peaks and valleys. We all have it. You take it one day at a time.
Just trust it. Never give up. Keep going. Keep growing.
Yeah, and we're about to trust this ball going into the hole, so watch this. What would you say has been, so far in your life, your biggest missed putt moments? If you could think of something kind of right off the bat. Yeah,
so the reason it's taken me, you know, 4 or 5 years to actually get to the point of finishing the book right now is because I did deter and go back into the corporate world. It was important for me at the time, right? I needed to make sure financially I was good for a while, stuff like that. But I would say the missed putt was that you've seen some of the videos. I did this somewhat on purpose, but I would call it a missed putt because I stopped, right? So I did a lot of like the street style interviews, the things that continued to get more popular after the time that I did it. Like I was a little bit ahead of the curve with it. Now the reality is I did that knowing that in the future the book was coming, and I wanted to kind of like, I do these things the same way I did the 66 days on my story, right? It's a little bit of like a social case study. How are people responding to it? Is it something like I was doing happiness reviews in the streets of Times Square? That's the most diverse place. Incredible
videos, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. Most diverse place you could possibly go, right? And everybody was responding well to it, from an elderly man that looked like Santa Claus to, you know, young people, men, women, everything, you know? So it showed me like, okay, there's a world where this works, right?
Yeah.
But I would say that the missed putt was just not continuing on the content over the time. But, you know, that's why you get, in baseball, they say your most important at bat is your next one.
Yeah.
So even if you just hit a home run in the last at bat, you still got to go up there again, right?
Same thing in golf. You know, the next best thing is your next shot. Yeah, you can flub a drive, which is what you and I just did. Ignore that. Focus on the next shot. Focus on the next shot. Focus on everything moving forward, and I think we'll be good to go.
Right. If I stay in that place of that missed putt or that strikeout, right, you're gonna go up and you're gonna miss the next putt. You're gonna strike out again. And if you just continue pushing forward, your next at bat's your most important one. Your next hole, your next putt, it's your most important one. So just keep that forward lens, right? Yeah, get out of your own head. Just keep, what I do a lot of times when I struggle to do well in golf or do a work, anything like that, I always, in the back of my head, or I'd keep telling myself over and over and over, Harrison, you can do this. You got this. Focus on this, focus on that. One thing at a time, that you can control what you can control. You know, that's it. So that's how I look at things, especially on the golf course. You know, like I said, we just had a couple bad shots, but those are out of my head now. Now I want to focus on the next thing. Same in life. Focus on my next adventure. Focus on my next interview. Focus on the next episode. I'm going to Vegas tomorrow. Focus on how fun that's going to be. You know what I mean? So you got to try not to dwell on things at the moment, and then just focus on things that we can control. Yeah, you know? I think it's important. It's basically, a lot of therapists call it framing, right? But how you frame something. So the Mona Lisa, right? If you put a cheap $3 plastic frame around it, it's probably not as amazing and looks as great as it does in the Louvre, right? Yeah. But when you go there and you see this gold lace in this crazy display and all that, it becomes the most famous picture in the world. Yeah. And it's really just about how you frame it and then where you put that frame, right? Where your environment is. Yeah, and well, we're about to frame this ball into the hole, so that's it. Next putt coming up. So, besides obviously, you know, everything else you got going on in your life right now, is there anything that you're still trying to figure out? You're like, you know, Luke, I think I can do this a little bit better. I think I can do that better. Anything you got going on like that? Yeah, you know, struggling with right now to figure out. I'm trying to get these balls moving. I was just trying to figure out why Harrison gave me this Mets ball. No, I'm just kidding. Ball time. Yeah, let's go Mets. I'll give it to you. But no, honestly, I mean, I'm always trying to figure it out. You know, at the end of the day, that's like, you know, I know Jen had mentioned to me, keep going, keep growing is in my Instagram bio. And she was like, where's that come from? And that's really where it comes from, is at the end of the day, you always got to keep going, keep growing, right? And I always heard this quote in my first ever corporate job, and I honestly hated it, but I love it now. When you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot. Okay. So when you're green, you still have all this time to grow into a fruit, right? Okay. But a ripe fruit, the only thing left to do is rot. You don't, so if you're not open to learn and grow, and you're just gonna rot. And that's a great analogy in life. Like, just be green and be open to things. So I'm always trying to work through different things, you know. The book, it took me out of the gym a little bit. So I would say the main thing I'm trying to do now is just get back into like my peak physical form. You know, it was a cold winter and I spent a lot of time inside in the basement writing. Of course. So that's probably the main thing that I'm trying to get back to right now, is just a really steady gym schedule where I go every day. I do a lot of running and stuff. Good, yeah. But I like the gym, dude. It's a good outlet. Like, like this, you know?
I see you all the time, like you're boxing. I can't do that shit, so good for you. But that's something that I got to get myself back into as well. So it's good to see you're doing it.
But that's something that I just decided I wanted to learn at 30. Yeah. Right? Like I had athletic traits that were able to transfer to make me a little bit better faster. But really it was just like, I just wanted to learn something new, and I said, fuck it, I'm doing it. Yeah. I literally got in the car and drove straight to the boxing gym and just signed up that day.
That's awesome.
Like I just was like, I'm leaving myself no choice, you know? Yeah. And that goes back to keep going, keep growing, right? Like at 30 years old, you can decide you want to learn boxing. Yeah. And so many people think like 30 years old, you're done, have, you know, get married, have a kid. And it's like, no.
It's never too late.
You can be married and have a kid and decide that you want to learn boxing.
Yep. It's never too, you're never too late for anything.
Never.
That's why I know, here I am at 33 trying something totally new. You know, when in the day and age of social media, you see a lot of these younger kids blowing up on Instagram, YouTube, this, that, and the other. Here I am at 33 trying to do something a little bit different, and it's uncomfortable for me, but I'm trying.
And you feel yourself growing through it, right? You're going to get more and more comfortable as you do these, and it's going to be funny one day when you look back and you're like, can't believe I was so nervous.
I know. It's funny because even like the first episode I have out, the next one coming out, this one, people are going to tell, you can tell by watching and listening that I'm still pretty nervous with doing it. My anxiety is really, really high right now because I'm doing something different. You know what I mean? On camera, talking to someone about our life. You know, my anxiety's through the roof doing it. You can tell that I'm nervous doing it, but I'm pushing myself through it. I'm challenging myself to do it and finish.
And let me ask you, do you find it cool to like be getting that feeling?
Yeah, I love it.
Because sitting and just not getting it is like, that's when you have this like, what am I doing? What do I want to do? You had a mission today. You knew you were going to come here. You knew you were going to do this. You knew you were going to step out of your comfort zone. And then you get this really rewarding, satisfying feeling out of it.
Yeah, it's the thrill almost. Like when I first started doing this, I was like, all right, this is kind of going back to what we said before, a little cringy and a little awkward, but I liked the feeling. Yeah. And then going out with my first guest last week, going out with you today, it's like, okay, I'm still feeling a little awkward, still feeling a little cringy, but I love the feeling. I love the feeling of my anxiety being high for this because it shows that I care. You know, if I didn't give a shit about this, if I didn't want to continue doing this, I wouldn't feel this way. It would just be another conversation with one of the boys. But now, because I actually want this to grow and I want people to take something from it and I care about it. So the thrill of my anxiety being high right now is amazing. Having anxiety is not good in the first place, but this feeling I can't describe because I like it.
Yeah.
I like doing this.
100%. And I mean, at the end of the day, anxiety, it's not a great place to be where we want to feel that, but it's part of human nature. Like we developed anxiety to keep us safe, right? It's meant to alert you and know that there's potential danger here, right? So to go through that and face that, that's the only way to really like get to it, you know? Like I always like this thing, Jordan Peterson, you know him?
I think so.
So a guy asked him like about like a lot of this, like just like how do you just deal with the daily existence of everything? And he said something along the lines of like, continue to take a sip of the hair of the dog that bit you until you create this concoction that really just generates out into the world. He said it way better than that, but in general it's like doing that thing, leaning into the hard thing, it starts to over time build up something way bigger and better that you're at some point gonna be like, I can't believe I thought it was hard to fucking hang out with my boys and hit a little golf session and talk.
And sometimes I feel like if I'm putting almost too much pressure on myself to make sure things are flawless and things run smooth, like I was telling you before. I know this little unorthodox way of doing this podcast, but for me, I'm comfortable doing it this way. This is how I like to do it in the beginning. Over time, things are going to change. I know I'll get better at it. Doing it this way is what makes me happy at the moment.
100%.
You know. So with that being said, do you think that some people you know or some people you see on social media are kind of putting too much pressure on themselves to appear happy or to be happy?
Yeah, and I think that could also be like, it's a very double-edged sword at times, right? Like, toxic positivity is actually a thing where if you're just, that's why I always say, like, you got to feel the whole spectrum of it. Like, you got to have that low score day and you got to be aware of it, because otherwise you're never going to understand the other side of it, right? And so if you're constantly just putting on a facade of positivity and happiness and stuff, it's going to start to counteract. It's not going to actually feed you the way that you need it to. It's going to start feeding you in a negative way because you're putting a mask on, right? And for me, it's one of my favorite questions. You've seen it in the street interviews, but what is your definition of happiness, right? And for me, it's being your true authentic self, no matter who your audience is. So if I'm talking to you today, or if I go see my parents later, or if I get a job in 2 weeks and I get a new boss, I still want to be the same version of Luke that you're seeing right now, because it's the one with no mask, right? I'm not pretending to be anything else, and that's where we're most comfortable and we're most free.
Just be yourself, and then if people like you, great. If not, then that's their problem. As long as you're comfortable in your own skin, that's how I look at it.
Exactly. And it's not your job to make everybody like you, right? A lot of times when people don't like something about somebody, it's because they have something inside of them that's where it actually stems from. So a good example is the boxing, right? I very vulnerably, not even realizing it at the time, was putting it out from the very first session I ever had. So it was cool for a lot of ways for people to see the growth of it, right? From day one, when I didn't even know how to hold my hands and, you know, everything was awkward, to like now when it can look really clean and it looks like, you know, good combinations and stuff. It's like, that had to happen, and I had to go through those pieces. But the people who maybe, you know, sent it to their friends in a group chat or shit talked it a little bit, it wasn't fucking Canelo Alvarez, bro. You know what I mean? Canelo don't have time to sit here and be like, damn, Luke's boxing is trash, you know? It's the kid in Staten Island on his mom's Wi-Fi that just wants to sit and doom scroll and talk shit.
And that's how I feel about this. I know there are people sharing my content, talking about my content in a negative way, but at the end of the day, I don't care. In the beginning I did, because like I told you, I'm a little nervous putting myself out there, putting things out there, but now I just don't care.
Unless Tiger Woods calls the president and tells him that the Missed Putt sucks.
I mean, if you don't fuck with it, you don't fuck with it, and that's fine. But for the people that do, those are the people that I do this for. Those are the people that I really, really, truly appreciate. I don't have a lot of support in this, to be honest. I have Jen supports me in anything I want to do. I have a couple of my friends who support me and ask me questions all the time about this, but then I have other people in my family who don't seem to give a shit about this, other people that we both know that don't give a shit about this, that, and the other. But it's so to have a very, very small support group is kind of sad almost in a way, but also those are the people that matter the most to me. You know?
100%.
And that's why I'm doing this.
And you're going to be surprised when you see where it comes from, right? And, you know, maybe it's not for people in your family, but there's going to be somebody that comes along and it, like, actually, maybe it inspired them to start theirs or to start golfing. Maybe it's somebody who doesn't get out of the house and they were like, you know what, I think I could do this. I think I could ride around in the cart with my friends and get out and stuff, and it could inspire them in a way that you never even thought of.
Yeah, and if you can get over the fear of being on camera in the middle of a golf course like me, anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it.
Speaking of, let's crush this hole right now.
Let's rip it.
All right, so as we're getting ready to wrap this up, if there's one thing you want people to remember you from years and years from now, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, for me at this point, I want people to think Luke was a good man. You know, he cared about other people almost to a fault. You know, sometimes I care more about the well-being of other people than myself, and that is really what I want people to remember about me, right? I don't care if, like, financially I end up in a great spot or, you know, I have great achievements or anything like that. You know, just how I made people feel.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, you're definitely. I can tell already from this conversation and from knowing you since high school. You're definitely a good man. So I definitely think people will remember you for that, and also for a lot more. Also being you know, an inspiration to people for going to the gym. Me starting this. Your happiness reviews. People are going to remember you for a lot of positive things, and I think that's something that you should go to bed every night realizing that you're an inspiration to a lot of people. So I think,
dude, I appreciate that,
I think you, so far on this earth, you've done a great job.
Dude, much love, man.
So
I really
appreciate
it.
everything you've done. Yeah.
Thank
Let's
you,
wrap
man.
this fucking up.
And thank you for starting this pod and you know, taking the leap, dude. I know we talked about it a little bit, and you were, you know, not 100% sure if you wanted to do it. And now you're letting it rip, dude. And look at us. We're out here about to finish up in the last hole.
I know.
We're gonna hit this last putt, and then we're moving on, baby. There's more putts ahead.
I know. I never thought that I would be in this position where I would actually run with an idea that I had, but with the help of Luke's words, Jen's words, a couple other of my friends, here we are. And now we're on hole 9. We're about to sink a par, and everyone, again, I appreciate Luke taking the time out of his Sunday to talk to us, play a good round with us, have a good time, have some good conversations, be hot as fuck. But until next time, thanks for tuning in.
And kudos to you, Harrison, bro. You're out here doing it, man.
Yeah.
You got me on the course. This is my 2nd time ever golfing.
Yeah, and he's gotten better.
What a day.
Yeah.
That's it. We're growing.
And
We're growing.
And we'll get out eventually. I appreciate
My
it.
man.